Slay the Spire 2 has been out for 3 weeks, and it's phenomenal. I've been enjoying it, playing with friends, having a great time. But I've also still been playing this. That's not to say that this is better, but the fact that I'm still playing this game while Slay the Spire 2 is out, I think says a lot. Slay the Spire 2 launched on March 5th with 177,000 concurrent players on day 1, 95% positive across tens of thousands of reviews, co-op mode, new characters, the whole shebang. It's a legitimately great game, and if you're watching this and you haven't played it, you might want to fix that. It's not really a question. What I want to talk about is a game that launched a month before and got completely swallowed by the hype wave. Dawncaster came out on Steam on February 2026. It already had 250,000 downloads on mobile after being out for 5 years there, and it landed with a pretty specific thesis on what they wanted deck builders to be. Then Slay the Spire 2 dropped and nobody talked about it anymore. So I'm here to examine it and tell you if Dawncaster is just Slay the Spire 1.5, or if it's a game you might want to take a second look at. The pitch is deck building as an RPG, not just a puzzle. You pick a class, weapon power, and starting card. Knight, warrior, rogue, arcanist, and a bunch of others. Your class also shapes which color cards you have access to early on, and the colors each have their own mechanical identity, with various keywords that compound over a run. This is the first place where the game differs, is with its classes. It has more characters than Slay the Spire. But more importantly, when you pick these things at the start of a run, it shaves away a bit of the RNG before the run even starts. Specific weapons have a certain way they behave, and your starting card helps you shape how your build turns out. In Slay the Spire 2, you pick a character and you're at the mercy of the heart of the cards. In this, you go into a run with a better idea of how your build's going to shape up. Those famous keywords that you find in any deck builder are where 1,100 cards live in this game. To put that into perspective, Slay the Spire 2 launched in early access with a much more curated pool. The depth is there, but it's a lot tighter, more intentional. Dawncaster went wide, and that's because it has 5 years of content under its belt. There are interactions in this game the developers probably didn't plan, which is either exciting or overwhelming depending on who you are. But the cool thing with Dawncaster is you can choose which expansions are active when you start a run. So you can play vanilla Dawncaster from when it came out, or you can play with that set of cards and only the newest expansion if you don't like the ones in between. This helps even out the learning curve a bit and lets you curate your card pools in case you have a specific build in mind. The combat itself is also worth looking at because there's a real structural difference. In Dawncaster, you fight an enemy one at a time. Each fight is a focused duel. You against a specific creature with a specific gimmick, and that makes the whole loop feel more, casual by design. It's faster, lower pressure rhythm than Slay the Spire 2. Whether that sounds like a relief or a setback depends entirely on why you play these games. I like both games, but for different reasons. Slay the Spire 2 is a fantastic co-op time with friends, and it's great for more involved strategic runs where I really want to think about how things interact. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that that's not present in Dawncaster. It's still very important, it's a deck builder. But Dawncaster is good for unwinding after a long day, or maybe you want to watch your favorite show, or maybe you're streaming and need to make sure you keep up with chat. To be clear, Dawncaster isn't easy. There's 5 difficulties, and even on normal, if you make the wrong move, it can spell disaster for your run. It's just that 1v1 matches mitigate some of that risk, so there's no need to worry about that small minion in the corner that you thought was harmless having the exact right mechanic to counter you. Here's where I'm not going to sugarcoat it though, because there are complaints about the game, and those are legitimate things that you need to know. The keyword silo is the problem that I see most. Dawncaster has a lot of keywords: chain, focus, momentum, cascade, and a bunch more. And they largely talk to themselves. A card that scales off of chain wants other chain cards. A card that scales off of momentum, it wants other momentum cards. In theory, the breadth of a 1,100 card library means you can build anything. In practice, when your card rewards start pulling from multiple color pools because you've unlocked a new energy source, you end up drowning in cards that don't speak to each other. This is something that you see in Slay the Spire 2, but the limited card pool means it's not as prevalent. For some people, that's fine. It's a part of the roguelike randomness. For players coming from Slay the Spire 2 though, where the card economy feels tight and intentional, this can read as shallow. It's just match keywords and win is a criticism I see a lot. And while I don't disagree, I find that a bit reductive. There's a bunch of combos that work, and I'm sure there's many more that I have no clue about. Also, you could pretty much say match keywords and win about most games. The meta progression is another big complaint. Dawncaster came from mobile, and it carries that DNA in some of those systems. The unlock system is fate shards. It's a currency you gain from doing daily quests and achievements and other challenges. Incremental unlocks across multiple tracks. Each class has its own reward track that you can unlock with fate shards. When you really look at it, this feels like a game that was designed around keeping you engaged daily on a phone. On PC, where you might sit down for a 2-hour session, you want to feel like you earned something, and that pacing drags. But here's the thing, the devs know. Patch 2.0 is specifically targeting this, adding more fate shard sources, tying unlocks to achievements, trying to make the early game less of a slog. That patch isn't out as of yet, so I can't really tell you if they succeeded in that endeavor, but I can tell you they've heard that complaint and are making moves to fix it. The 1,100 cards is genuinely significant and worth spending a minute on because it cuts both ways, right? Slay the Spire 2 launched in early access. It's gonna grow, more cards are coming, and that's the nature of early access. Right now, though, Dawncaster has depth of content that took 5 years of iteration to build. There are runs in this game that will go places you didn't plan for. Pivoting mid-run is possible because the library is enormous, but the catch, and this connects to the keyword problem, is that the breadth can make things feel less engineered. Slay the Spire 2's smaller card pool feels like every card was a deliberate choice. Dawncaster's larger pools sometimes feel like some cards exist because someone made it for mobile 5 years ago and it never got cut. I enjoy this because it feels like there will be something new to experiment with in every run, but I'm also only 6 hours in, so take that with a grain of salt. The verdict? Dawncaster's $19.99, currently 20% off for $15.99. Slay the Spire 2 is $25.99 in early access. It's not the same purchase. It's apples and oranges. They're both fruit, but they are different. If you want tight, high-skill deck building with multi-enemy combat and the sharpest card economy in the genre right now, that's Slay the Spire 2. It's not even close. But if you want something to play alongside it, something with more RPG texture, faster individual encounters, and a bit more of a story underneath the loop, and a card pool deep enough that you're still finding new interactions after 50, 60 runs, Dawncaster earns its place in the genre. The grind in the meta progression is real, and the keyword problem will occasionally frustrate you. Go in with the right expectations, and this is a genuinely good deck builder whose PC release got buried by timing. So here's where I land on this. 3 buckets, right? Buy it if you want a deck builder with a little more narrative to the runs, and if you love deck builders, but maybe you're not a fan of how Slay the Spire itself plays out. Buy it if you want a massive card library and to always feel like there might be something new to find, even after 50 hours. Buy it if the single enemy combat sounds like a feature rather than a flaw. Then it's probably for you. It's on sale right now, that's an easy yes. Wait if the meta progression grind thing is something that kills games for you. Patch 2.0 is coming and specifically targeting that friction. Supposedly faster unlocks and more fate shard sources. Less mobile pacing baggage. But again, that patch isn't out yet, so I can't truly speak to that. The game might be better in a month. If you're on the fence, give it 6 weeks and check back. And skip if you need multi-enemy combat to feel engaged, or you're just a Slay the Spire fanboy, or the keyword fishing problem I described sounds like it would drive you insane. Those things aren't being changed. That's design. Slay the Spire 2 exists and it's $24.99 and it's in early access. It scratches a different itch more precisely. If that's what you actually want, just go play that. Dawncaster's PC release got buried by timing, and that's a shame because it's genuinely good at being what it is. And that's the verdict. If you made it this far in the video, a like and a sub would be greatly appreciated, guys. I'm trying to grow the channel right now, and every little bit helps. Be sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss my next video. I stream on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, so feel free to stop by and say hi. And as always, guys, I'll be back later with another video. Peace out.